Welcome. Yeah, you're welcome to the channel once again. Today, I'll be trying to explain the stamp duty. I know there has been a lot of cry out there regarding 6%. I mean, can you imagine it? Actually, really, sincerely, if somebody asked me to pay 6%, wow. I would explain that because some people still have to pay 6% anyway. But relax. Not everybody has to pay 6%. In fact, most people wouldn't have to pay up to even 1%. Okay? I understand that we shouldn't even be having more of these things, especially at this time. But unfortunately, it's been forced on us, and probably they are trying to force it down our throat. So if it survives, just for you to understand what it is that you'll be charged and what your expectations should be. Because at the end of the day, really, the buck is at your hand as the consumer. So we'll be talking about stamp duty, especially as it relates to real estate and all of that, but I will be explaining somewhat generally. I also heard the other day that there was some dispute between the postal stamp and stamp duty, and that NIPOST or whatever was in some dispute with FIRS, that's Federal Inland Revenue Service, as to who's supposed to collect stamp duty. Stamp duty and postal stamp, they are two different things, okay? And the law clearly states what it is that FIRS should collect, and the stamp, postage stamp payment and all of that should go to NIPOST. My name is Debo Adejano, a real estate entrepreneur, MDCO Realty Point Limited. They call us the Circle Landlord people. And this is Real Estate with Debo Adejano. I'll be right back.
Real estate independence fast track course is not something you want to joke with at all. Loads and loads and loads of learning and information and benefits await you at the next one. All you need to do is ensure that you register for your next fast track course. We're looking forward to seeing you. Do you want to be financially free? I hope you know that you will retire someday, and you probably are desirous of doing business with real estate or investing property for yourself, for your use. You need to learn about it before you make that next move. I tell people, you want to buy properties, you want to invest in property one way or the other, don't do it until you attend the next Real Estate Entrepreneurs Fast Track course. See you there.
Welcome back. Now, let me just explain that. So, stamp duty is, there are things that are dutiable, they say. Okay? They are not duty-free, they are dutiable. And you get to pay stamp duty on them, especially documents and things like that, transactions and all of that. And the law puts the person who is benefiting as the one to pay, as it were, like that, okay? I should also put this disclaimer here that this is not a legal counsel. I'm not a lawyer. It's not an accounting counsel. I'm not an accountant. It's not a tax counsel. I'm not a tax consultant. It's my opinion, okay? And the result of my own findings that I'm just sharing. So it's not something that you can use and hold me liable. If you need professional advice, you need to consult your professional. You need to consult your professional, because I won't have another professional talk about stuff that are within my purview, and be claiming to be consulting. Okay? So we should get that straight. But I can tell you that you will benefit a lot. This will open your mind and you will get value for it. And for free. It's on YouTube, it's for free. Okay? That you subscribe, that is the benefit that you are having. So, as I was saying, you get to pay stamp duty on a number of transactions, and I'll reel out some of those transactions. But let's say that there are two sides to stamp duty. There are two sides to it. So there is the payment you make as a percentage of the consideration regarding that transaction. So if a transaction was 50 million naira, is a percentage that you make. So they can say 1%, 2%, whatever percent. Like in the case of rent that we are talking about now, is a percentage. So there is the one that is as a result of percentage, okay? I think the professional word for it is ad valorem, okay? Ad valorem, something like that, So that's the professional word for it. And there is the one that is fixed. is a fixed amount regardless of the consideration of the transaction. The one that is ad valorem is percentage of the consideration. So if a transaction is 50 million, if it is 1%, that is the rate, is a percentage, it means you will get to pay 500,000, right? Yes. So you get to pay 500,000 because that's 1% of 50 million. That's what you get to pay for ad valorem, the one that is percentage. If the transaction is 100 million, 1% of that is 1 million. That's what you get to pay on the one that is ad valorem. But there is the one that is fixed amount that you pay, regardless of the consideration. So if the transaction consideration is 50 million or it's 100 million, it does not matter. It's the same amount, fixed amount that you get to pay. So those are the two sides of stamp duty. So rent, for example, that we are talking about is ad valorem. Okay, rent is ad valorem, is a percentage. Now, the news that first came out was that the 6% duty. And of course, the papers will want to sell. Probably that's why they put 6% stamp duty out there. Federal government review stamp duty 6%. But FIRS, Federal Inland Revenue Service, okay, I've come out to say that, hey, hold it. It's not 6% like that. This is the breakdown. And I think PwC and some other notable bodies or corporate entities have come to also break it down for us to better understand. And they've come to say that, hey, look, this is how it operates. For rents that are within a period of 1 year to 7 years maximum, a cap of 7 years, what you get to pay on them as stamp duty is 0.78%. So stamp duty on rent is ad valorem, okay? Ad valorem meaning that is a percentage. Now, it's not 6%. Of course, the newspapers would have to sell. That's probably why they put 6%. 6% is just one of the percentage, but it's not what is most common and what would affect a whole lot of people. Now, this is the breakdown. If your tenor, your rent tenor, is under 7 years, and guess what? Most rent tenor are monthly or at best 1 year, maybe 2 years, even leases 3 years, okay? 3 years, 5 years, thereabout. If your rent tenor, your tenancy is within a tenor less than 7 years, the percentage of the consideration you paid as rent that you pay as stamp duty is 0.7%. Yes, 0.7%. So the implication of that is that if, for example, your rent is 1 million naira, okay, and it is under 7 years, 10% of that will be 100,000, 1% of that will be 10,000, yes, 7,800. That's what your stamp duty will be for a 1 million naira rent that is under 7 years. So that's the stamp duty you get to pay. And who gets to pay this is the tenant. The landlord is actually appointed as a government agent to collect it on behalf of government and remit to government, but it's the tenant that has to pay. Okay, it's the tenant that has to pay. That's the law. Now, if your rent tenor is above 7%, but not up to 21 years, it's above 7 years, sorry, but not is 7 years and above, but not up to 21 years, then the percentage that you get to pay is 3%. That's quite some money. But you see, that's also quite some tenor. For people that would want that kind of lease or rent, that's lease really, by law. For people that want that, it must probably be for really serious commercial considerations or uses, okay? So maybe government is also trying to have a share in the game. We can argue back and forth about whether that is needed now and whether what we've seen our money being used for and things like that, but that is it, okay? Now, if your rent tenor is more than 21 years and above, the stamp duty rate is 6%. So that's where the 6% came from. So the 6% won't get to you until you are renting a property that the rent tenor that you are considering at the sitting is 21 years and above. And most people don't do that. A lot of us rent properties, at most, the one that is very common in this part of the world is 1 year, okay? And that is under 0.7%. Like I said, if your rent is 1 million naira, the stamp duty will be about 7,800. That's what it will be. You get me? So that is stamp duty for you. It's different from postage stamp. I've explained that. And it is needed on your tenancy documents, especially by the time, you see, not just especially. Now it is expected that that is even done. So what happens is that they will start going through people's books, okay? And if they should see rents, you're renting something out, the tax authorities will ask for the stamp duty. If there is no stamp duty paid, wow, that's the problem. You need to go and pay. And there is how arrears are even calculated and things like that. So, you see, some people, let me share something with you, which you also have to be careful of. So, if you actually have an agreement, and you think that it may be something that is, not that you think. For agreements, tenancy agreement, for example, the right thing to do is to pay the stamp duty and get it stamped. Now, if you don't, and if you think you've escaped and you've not been caught by the audit of the tax people and all of that, this is the challenge you face. If that matter should become a legal case, you won't be able to tender that document in court except you go pay your stamp duty. And by that time, especially when the date is in arrears, there is how they calculate arrears also. Penalties will be paid and all of that. And it could become something substantial at the time. So once you are avoiding to pay 7.5 on a 1 million naira transaction, you may find yourself paying something more substantial later should you need that. Yes, because is a penal fee, default fee and things like that. So in a way to discourage people from dodging it. So I would say that as a people, if we want to advocate for it to be abolished, for it to be reduced and all of that, we should go ahead and press and press for that in a legal way, in a way that we can be heard and listened to and probably reasoned with. Okay? But if it stands in law, I would say that as a business person, you'll be wise to ensure that you are not found wanting, falling foul of the law. You are not found. Because if you should be, it's usually not a very good experience. So that's about stamp duty. I hope that I've been able to explain it to you and tell you that, hey, it's needed. So for stamp duty, you get to pay it on a number of transactions. You get to pay it on a number of transactions, whether on a hard valorem basis or on a fixed amount basis. So here are some of the kind of transactions you get to pay it on. Power of attorney, CFO now, proxy form, if you have shares and you want to send someone to represent you as your representative. Proxy, for it to be a legal document, you need to pay stamp duty on it. Appointment of receivers, MOUs, for it to become tenable, joint venture agreements, guarantors form, ordinary agreement receipts, just your receipts, that you collect from Omonile or from somebody selling property to you and all of that, you get to pay stamp duty on it. Deed of assignment, sale agreements or contract of sale, tenancy or lease agreements, insurance policies, contract agreements, vending agreements, promissory notes, charter parties, and contract notes, So these are some of the things you get to pay stamp duty on. Just like some tax where you pay some to federal government, also some to state government, there is a stamp duty that you can pay to state government, especially when the transaction, the two people on both sides of the transaction are individuals. Okay, mostly that is remitted to state government. But when the two people or one of the people in the transaction is like a corporate entity, you may need to do your further due diligence, but most of the time that is a federal stamp duty. So you may want to find out. Well, I know there has been cases where it ordinarily should be a federal government stamp duty, but states will be charging you. These are some of the irregularities we find at times. If you can, push your case and get your argument listened to, you shouldn't be charged by states. You should pay federal government stamp duty. Because I've seen one or two of such cases, or I've heard of one or two of such cases. So, but how it works is transactions involving individuals usually it is state government that you pay the stamp duty to. And then the ones that are federal government is the one that incorporates, that has a cooperation, okay, involved, either one of the parties or both parties. So I believe you've enjoyed this episode. If you like the video, please click the like button. If you've benefited one way or the other, please subscribe to the channel. And if you know someone that should be benefiting from this channel, recommend it to them, okay? We are dishing out valuable information here. Trust me, you want to ensure that somebody you know knows about this and is benefiting from it. Till I come your way in another episode, I remain yours sincerely, Debo Adejano, in the business of helping you sack your landlord.
Thank you. I believe you've enjoyed the video that you just watched. You gained a lot, right? Now, let me share with you where they say it all starts. It's called the Real Estate Entrepreneurs Fast Track Course. It's a 2-all-day event. 2 days fully packed, teaching you about real estate, not just teaching you, showing you real estate stuff that you probably would not know. I'll be teaching you as a real estate entrepreneur or someone that is buying real estate for personal use or for investment one way or the other. This is a course you don't want to miss. There is no two of its kind in the market. It's the best that there is in the market and you want to be there. Guess what? It is absolutely free. If it is about real estate and it is about investing, particularly in Nigeria, this is a course that you want to attend. For the value that you will gain, it is absolutely free. All you need to do right now is to click on the link and register for the next Real Estate Entrepreneurs Fast Track Course. As a real estate entrepreneur or as a owner occupier of a house, this is a course you don't want to miss. So see you at the next Real Estate Entrepreneurs Fast Track Course. Click the link below and get registered. Looking forward to seeing you there.